Good morning, evening, afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark.
And I'm Zoe.
And we are the Board Adventurers, back to you with another fresh off the shelf. Today we're doing Rolling Realms Redux, a game by Stonemaier Games, designed by Jamie Stegmaier and Carol Titeka, and again, published by Stonemaier Games. Now, just as a heads up, this is a game that we received as a review copy. And we're going to review it as such. So thank you, Stonemaier Games, for sending us a review copy. Rolling Realms Redux is almost like an extension from the previously published Rolling Realms.
Yeah.
What this game does is it creates a standalone version where you have 12 main worlds or board game worlds that you're dealing with. So in terms of gameplay or the game arc of this game, what you're going to do is you're going to hand out a set of 12 cards to each player. So each one of them is going to get one of these stacks of cards. One player will then draw 3 random cards. And that will be the 3 worlds that are going to be played during that round. This game is 3 rounds long. And it's in each round, it's 9 turns. So on your turn, you're going to roll, one player is going to roll these 2 die. They're going to use those 2 die, and they're going to use it in terms of the 3 cards that they have. The rules go that whenever you have a die, you can add 1 die into one world that you have here. The other die has to go into one of the remaining worlds. You can't use the same die in one world unless you use an effect, but we'll get to effects. You'll fill in based on the rule of that world. We don't go too hard into every single world because that'll take us forever. But just note that each world has its own specific rules of how you place numbers and what you fill out on that in that world. Then you're going to keep playing. At some point, so we're going to get now a little further in, is that you're going to fill out, as you're filling these out, you're going to place them in locations that give you symbols. A lot of worlds have it so that whenever you place a number in a location, you get one of the symbols on that world. So the 3 symbols are a pumpkin, a heart, and a coin. And they do various effects. So, and you can spend them on your turn. So in regards to the pumpkins, if you spend 2, you can take any 1 die and add -1 or 1 or even 0 to it. If you spend 3 pumpkins, you have the ability to do the same effect, but then use it in the same world that you've used the other die in. So meaning that if I were to take 1 die into this and use 3 pumpkins, instead of having to place it into here, I could put it into the world that I put that original die in. The hearts have a different effect. The 2 hearts, if by spending them, allow you to take another die if the 2 dies are paired, meaning that if you have the same face on them. If you spend 3 hearts, you can take any additional die of either face. So you can have 2 different numbers on your die and take an additional die of one of those faces. When it comes to the coins, if you can spend 2 coins, if you have a 7 as a sum on those die, when you have a 7, you get a die of the same value as one of those 2 die. And then as an additional is if you, for any number of coins that you spend on your turn, you can gain another die from 1 to 6 based on how many coins you spend. Again, you're following the same rules for that. Is if I were to use my 2 die in this location and I used 3 coins to get a 3, I would have to use it in the 3rd location. I can't use it in the one of the other 2. You're going to play 9 turns over 3 rounds. 9 turns per round for 3 rounds. And then you're going to add up your score. Your score is going to be how many stars you get based on the world requirement. And then for any additional resource that you have still on your of your pumpkins, hearts, and coins, you'll get a 0.1. And that's kind of like almost like a tie-breaking condition. And from that, you'll determine who's the winner. And that is how you play Rolling Realms Redux. What do you think?
Yeah, so the roll and write genre of board games is one that I find to be just kind of okay, like flip and writes, roll and writes in general. A lot of those games for me really fun the first playthrough, and then subsequent playthrough kind of gets tiresome and it just feels repetitive in a lot of ways. Even the really popular ones, like one that we reviewed, like Welcome to. Rolling Realms doesn't. I was hoping that Rolling Realms for me would kind of be the one that bucks the trend. I don't think it does, but I do like it as kind of like a love letter to board games in a way, where each
Yeah.
realm is kind of based off of some popular games, some games that has like a following but it's not as popular. I do like that. There's like a game based off of Button Shy game that's not even one of their popular ones,
Yeah.
which I enjoy. I enjoy it as kind of like a love letter to board games. But as just a board game itself, I think it's just okay.
Okay.
But I find most roll and rights, flipping rights to be just okay. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. Again, I'm also not really a big fan of roll and write games, flip and write games, X and write games. But I do like what you're saying. I'm very appreciative that the designers went in and they studied the board games that these worlds are coming out of.
Yeah.
Because they do slightly feel like the world that they're in. Like of the games that we have here in the 12, of the ones that we've played, say like Meadow, Flamecraft, Wonderland's War, it does feel like they really played that game out and they knew exactly what to add into this game.
Yeah.
Like with like the Meadow board, like you know that you're taking that one piece and then you're going that many spaces over, and they're incorporating almost like a roll like number to it. I like that puzzly aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I like that there's ways of kind of like, you can't do everything in this game.
No.
Right? You can't score. The maximum here is 6 stars on the bottom of each card. You can't get 18. If you get 18, then you've probably broken the game. But it makes you prioritize certain pieces.
Yeah.
And I think 9 rounds is just enough for each round that makes you feel like you're cutting it very close as to what you can score.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get further in, like say if you added 2 more rounds to it, you might get to a point where you fill up one of your worlds and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like the length of this game. It's short enough where it'll feel different every time because you're dealing 3 of these new worlds. But it doesn't stay too long. And sometimes some roll and writes can stay a little too long for me. Yeah.
I do when I think of this game and I think of like who it's for, this really is just for board game enthusiasts, like deep into the hobby board games. I'm on Board Game Geek every other day type of board game player. Like you really need to know the games that each card is based off of, and that heightens the enjoyment of it. Like I could see this if you have like a game group that's playing like twice a week, pulling this out and kind of going like, let's try this out and have an enjoyment based off of that. And other thing I do like about this is that it's easy to just add expansions to it as games come out.
Because you have the base box too, which we haven't played.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's very similar to this. You could just add this in. This comes in like a deck of card box.
Yeah.
You could just combine it, I think, with the other ones once you get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. I think it's just okay. One thing I don't like about it is how the resources in the game. I find myself not gravitating towards using them, and you really do need to use them to try and kind of win the game. I just don't find that they do anything that unique for me to gravitate towards it.
Yeah, I think this is definitely more of a casual type of game. Like something where like maybe it's like a palate cleanser between games. It's like, hey, we just finished, a 2-hour period of Beyond the Sun. Let's pull out maybe Rolling Realms just to get, some like, some casualness and like kind of clean our minds from what just happened. Then we could pull out another heavier game. And then this still gives you that kind of like roll and write-y type of aspect to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm agree with you. Like it's roll and writes don't do much for me nowadays. But like this is still a solid one, I think.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to bring up too is that for each card, it has the rules of that realm on the card. And how did you feel about that? Just in general, the rules of each card itself, and
it's a little like you would have to play these worlds at least twice to really get your mind wrapped around like how they score, because some of them will score a lot easier than some on like different rounds.
Yeah.
And if you could possibly get a round where you have three very complicated actions.
Yeah.
That require you to kind of maybe not complicated is not the right word, but like the way they score is a little bit harder to wrap around, because there's a lot of steps. Like say for poker, right? You have to be able to write numbers into the flop, which is the main area of the top. Then you have to write your hand into the bottom.
Yeah.
Then you have to spend another die to circle it. That's like almost a 3-step process, and that's a 3-round process. Whereas some, like say Meadow again, you could just fill in a number, get that symbol. That symbol gives you automatically the stars. It's a little. Some of them are just a little more complicated to wrap around.
Yeah, I kind of
especially if you didn't play the game.
Oh, 100%. And I get the reason why the rules are on the card is just so you can easily get more cards and put it to your game. But I kind of wish that the realms itself had more of an explanation in the rule book instead of just kind of like a 2-sentence rule for that card.
Yeah.
Because some of them I feel like need more than just 2 sentences to wrap
that's
your
a
head
fair
around
point.
it.
Yeah, like it would be nice to possibly have something that explains, like maybe give you examples of how this thing works.
Yeah.
Because I know some people are more visual learners. But it was, some of the cards can get a little wordy. That's where it and I don't like to read too much on a card. So that's really it. But otherwise, relatively, like we didn't have much issue trying to figure out how things scored.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of wrapping our head around it.
The rule, yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms of review score, where are you for this?
Yeah, when it comes to this, I think I would still come down to a 3. This is this is out of 5. I think I would introduce this definitely to people that like roll and writes. This would probably be the target audience for those people, especially the ones that play a lot of roll and writes, that kind of like to try other games but don't really know like what their kind of scoring mechanism is. This gives you almost like a very basic way of knowing how that game slightly works, right? Because at least with like say Wonderland's War, you could know that there's area control somewhere. With Meadow is like the track thing. With Planet Unknown, you have the tile area that you're placing and you're scoring based on the line.
Yeah.
This would be I would be hesitant to bring this out every game group. And I don't know how much replayability I have with this outside of combining it with the other version. But if you like the original Rolling Realms, this might be just more of that.
Yeah.
We would have to play that too.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, I'm coming in at a 2.5. I don't dislike the game, but I don't love it either. I think it's just right down the middle, just kind of just okay. A lot of it just comes from just the enjoyment of the love letter to the different types of board games and figuring out how that works. I feel like this is one of those games that once I play a specific realm 2 or 3 times, I feel like I'm done with it. The actual gameplay of Rolling Realms, the game, it's just okay. There's other games, even other rolling rights or flipping rights or whatever, that I feel like I would probably play more than Rolling Realms. This is one of those like, oh, there's a new set. Maybe I'll check out what those cards are, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, that's where I come down with Rolling Realms.
Nice. All right. That is our fresh off the shelf of Rolling Realms Redux. Let us know if you've played it. Let us know if the original Rolling Realms that came out during, I think, with the pandemic, is similar to what we're talking about here. That we are the Board Adventurers. I'm Mark.
And I'm Zoe.
We'll see you on the next adventure.